I'm kind of on fire today about this topic. What is a positive pivot? So in my book, Evolve Your Coaching Business, there is a chapter where I write about the importance of, I guess, actually buying into this concept that making pivots are what going to help you create your success. And it's funny, the last blog that I wrote was all about the 3 feet from gold and how, keep going and don't just fail and give up. And right after writing this, isn't this how it always goes? That, of course, I had a failure. Something happened in my own business that was like, oh, that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. It was very much like 3 feet from gold. Now that I'm thinking about it, lots of success, and then things were going well and getting love letters and all kinds of positive stuff coming. And then something happened where I just wasn't going the way I thought it would go or wanted it to go. And I had to make a choice because I am pretty good at pushing through. If something's not working, I can usually find a way to make it work. This is the important part of the message I want you to hear today. I can do that, and I've done it hundreds of times in my life. But what I've discovered is that if I am pushing forward because of, I want to look good, I want it, like I already said I was going to do it, and so I better carry through on it. What I think of as the ego saying, hey, Kat, you gotta do this thing. If I go in that direction and I push and I get success, it's never sustainable. In the end, it all falls apart. So that's why I've learned to pivot. When I sense something's not working, when I hit that place of, oh, that didn't go how I wanted it to, not always, but this time I did, so I can talk about it. I like to stop, and that's the story in the book. I have a couple of stories in the book about how I made positive pivots in moments where sometimes it's unexpected. It comes from outside. Often that's true, like this pandemic that caused many of us, most of us, to pivot. So inspired by the Coactive Training Institute, the pivot they made. If you know that organization, they made a pivot from in-person courses to online courses within like 3 weeks. They were like on it. They just had to make the choice. That's part of how a pivot works, a positive pivot. It requires that you stop and go, okay, something's not working. And you don't just bail. Like I've done that a lot of times too. And you don't just push forward and say, okay, we've got to make this work. You stop and you check in. You check in with that wise part of yourself. You check in with your intuition, with your gut. You go, okay, if that's the signal I'm getting from the world, what actually wants to happen that's going to be better? Most of my most happy making things that have happened in my life have come when I pivoted. When I was going in one direction, I hit something that didn't work. And so I reconfigured and went in another direction, and it was a better one. It was a better one than the one I started. It was better than I ever could have imagined or thought out to begin with. I had a head somewhere. So we got to be, I'm a person, who loves goals and create your vision. And that's what I'm all about right this time of year. I've been leading my vision courses and helping people get on board, but you have to be able to pivot when something isn't working out. I think it's really key to your success and to the joy, because that's what I checked in with this last event that came my way. I'm like, okay, if I'm getting, again, I was getting a lot of different messages. Some of them were like, whoa, lots of very positive feedback. And then there were some things that weren't working. And so I took and looked at all of it together, and I decided I needed to change course. And so I have. It's uncomfortable. It feels vulnerable. And yet I can feel that it's right. And this is the right feeling, because I feel like, I'm headed now in a much more sustainable direction. Right? Sustainable, meaning I can keep this going. It's going to grow. It's going to be, actually think about my own vision. It's a part of what I actually want to make happen this year. So that's my encouragement to you. When something happens, so that's why I talk in the blog about catching a wave that you don't even expect. So be on the lookout when something happens, like, ooh, that I'm meeting some resistance here out in the world. Don't just stop, don't give up, and also don't just push through because your saboteur thinks you've got to, carry through with something. Look and see what is it calling you to do that will be better for you and for those that you serve. And have fun with that.